Good morning, pre-K. Let's start off with our sight word. And I said off. And O-F-F. Off is our sight word. Please help me to take off my shoes. All of you are pretty big now. You can take them off by yourself. But when you were smaller, someone had to help you take off your shoes. I took my coat off. We aren't wearing coats right now, are we? As it gets a lot warmer and it's spring. But when you come to school in the winter, you take your coat off and put it in your cubby. I took my, what do you think, off? You can come up with some ideas of your own. I took my hat off. I took my pajamas off. We do that when we get dressed in the morning. I took my bathing suit off after I went swimming, because we're going to go swimming soon. It's going to get really warm and hopefully some of us will get to swim. We may have to do it in our backyards, but hopefully we'll get to. I took my, what do you say? Think of some things that you can take off. Socks, hats, shirts,
shades,
sunglasses. Okay, let's go on with Alice in Wonderland. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. We are all the way up to chapter 5. And if you remember, I'll help you remember when we stopped. Alice had gotten stuck inside a house, and she got so big that she filled up the whole second floor of the house, and her arm was sticking out the window, and all of the animals arrived and they were talking about taking her arm off and all kinds of things. And then when she was sitting there getting very worried, she found something, some little cakes. You know, this thing about drinking and eating makes her bigger and smaller. So she ate the little cakes, and she got small enough to get through the door, and she ran out of the house and found a crowd of animals and birds waiting outside, and they made a rush at Alice. But she ran away as fast as she could. Well, when she ran, she didn't have the slightest idea where she was going to go. But she knew she wanted to go back to that beautiful garden that she'd seen at the very beginning of the story. So she looked all around and she found a large mushroom growing near her. It was just her height. And when she stretched herself up on tiptoe and looked over the edge of the mushroom, her eyes met the eyes of a large blue caterpillar. This is called advice from a caterpillar. The caterpillar and Alice looked at each other for some time in silence. At last, the caterpillar took the pipe out of its mouth and spoke to her in a very sleepy voice. "Who are you?" he asked. Alice replied, I don't know, sir. At least I knew who I was when I got up this morning, but I have changed so many sizes since then." "What do you mean by that?" said the caterpillar sternly. "Explain yourself." "I can't explain myself," said Alice, "because I'm not myself, you see." "I don't see," said the caterpillar. Here's picture of Alice talking to the caterpillar. "I can't put it more clearly," Alice replied politely. "I can't understand it myself to begin with. I have been so many sizes today, it's very confusing." "It isn't," said the caterpillar. "Well, maybe not to you," said Alice, "but when have you had to turn into a chrysalis and then after that into a butterfly? I think you'll feel a little strange too, won't you?" "Not a bit," said the caterpillar. "Well, maybe your feelings will change," she said. It has been very strange to me." "You," said the caterpillar. "Who are you?" She replied, "I think you ought to tell me who you are first." "Why?" said the caterpillar. He had a good point. It didn't seem to be in a very good mood, so she decided to leave and began walking away. "Come back," said the caterpillar. "I've something important to say." Alice turned and came back again. "Keep your temper," said the caterpillar. "Is that all?" said Alice, holding in her anger as well as she could. There he is. Isn't he funny? He has a head that looks sort of like a person, but a body that looks like a caterpillar. And he has this very strange pipe. And of course, Alice is having all these strange happenings, so she's seeing things that no one knows what they are. "No," said the caterpillar. Alice thought she might as well wait. The caterpillar might tell her something worth hearing. For some minutes it puffed away without speaking, but at last it unfolded its arms and took the pipe out of its mouth again and said, "So you think you've changed, do you?" "I'm afraid I am, sir. I don't stay the same size for longer than 10 minutes. "What size do you want to be?" it asked. "Oh, I really don't care what size I am," Alice replied. "I just don't like changing sizes so much. Do you know what I mean?" "I don't know," said the caterpillar. Alice said nothing. She felt that she was losing her temper again. "Are you happy with your size now?" said the caterpillar. "Well, I would like to be a little larger, if you wouldn't mind," said Alice. 3 inches is such a terrible height to be." 3 inches, that means she's like about this big. "It's a very good height indeed," said the caterpillar angrily, rearing itself upright as it spoke. It was exactly 3 inches high. "But I'm not used to it," pleaded poor Alice. So here he's standing up, showing her how tall he is and giving her a really grumpy face. He's a very odd creature. "You'll get used to it in time," said the caterpillar. This time, Alice waited until the caterpillar chose to speak again, and the caterpillar took the pipe out of its mouth and yawned once or twice. Then it shook itself. Then it got down off the mushroom and crawled away in the grass, saying as it went, "One side will make you grow taller, and the other side will make you grow shorter." "One side of what? The other side of what?" said Alice. "Of the mushroom," said the caterpillar, and then it crawled out of sight. Alice looked at the mushroom, trying to figure out which 2 sides did what. It was particularly round, so it was hard to choose. She stretched her arms around it as far as they could go and broke off a bit of the edge with each hand. "Now, which is which?" she said to herself, and she nibbled a little of the right hand bit to see what happened. The next moment, she felt a blow beneath her chin. It had struck her foot. The sudden change frightened her, but she had to hurry. She was shrinking fast. She quickly took a bite of the other bit. Her chin was pressed so hard against her foot that there was hardly enough room for her to open her mouth, but she managed to swallow a little bit of the left-hand side of the mushroom. "Oh, my head is free at last," Alice said with delight, and her happiness faded when she realized she could not see her shoulders. All she could see was her long neck, which seemed to poke out above some leaves that lay far below her. "What can all that green stuff be?" said Alice. "And where have my shoulders gone? And oh, my poor hands, why can't I see you?" She was moving them about, but she saw no result except a little shaking in the green leaves. She couldn't get her hands to her head, so she tried to get her head to her hands. Her neck bent in any direction like a snake. She started curving it down into the leaves, which she found were the tops of trees. Oh my goodness. That's pretty funny, huh? There's her long head poking above the trees, but her body's way down here. Very strange growing, if you ask me. Alice moved her neck in and out of the trees, and it kept getting tangled among the branches. So she had to stop and untwist it, until at last she found her shoulders. She remembered she still held the pieces of mushroom in her hands, and started nibbling at one and then at the other. She grew sometimes smaller and sometimes smaller until she finally got back to her regular height. It had been such a long time since she had been the right size that it felt a little strange at first. But she got used to it in a few minutes. There's half my plan done now. I'm back to my right size. And now I'm off to find that beautiful garden. But how do I find it? As she said this, she saw in front of her a little house. It was about 4 feet high. Oh, I can't go into the house being this size. I would scare whoever lives there out of their mind. So she began eating the right-hand bit of mushroom again, and didn't go near the house until she was 9 inches high. So here she's her regular size, and that's when she spots the little house. Must be very hard on her body getting smaller and larger. So, we've come to the end of chapter 5. And we'll have to wait till tomorrow to find out what happens inside that house. What do you think? Who do you think lives in the house? Well, I can give you a clue. The next chapter is called Pig and Pepper. And I'm not sure, but they look like a frog and a fish, and I'm not sure if they live there or what. But I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Have a great day. Do something fun. Read a book. Bye.